In this video, I'm going to install XAMPP and set it up as a service on a Windows machine. So I'm going to start by searching for XAMPP XAMPP download. And the first link should be download from apachefriends.org. And the current version is 7.2.29 or 7.3.16 or 7.4.4. I'm on the Windows platform. There's downloads available for Linux and for OS X. For Windows, I'm going to go for the latest version, which is 7.4.4 with PHP version 7.4.4. And I'm going to download the 64-bit version. Okay, great. So that only took a couple of minutes over here. I'm going to go ahead and run the application that I just downloaded. Important because an activated user account, blah, blah, blah. I should be able to say OK here. And then I'm just going to take the defaults for most of this stuff. I'll go ahead and install everything. I'm really only going to be using Apache for this one. And then best to take the default install folder if possible, which is C:\XAMPP. English. And then when it will go to this screen in your browser, but in the background, it will also be doing something. So be careful to click on that thing, because otherwise you'll be sitting there for a really long time. And then just go ahead and hit next. Okay, so that took a couple of minutes to finish. I'm going to go ahead and leave this. Do you want to start the... Actually, I'm going to unclick. Do I want to start the control panel now? Because I want to run this as administrator, and click the finish button. And then that should have been installed into C XAMPP. And then in this top level XAMPP folder, you should have a file, an application called XAMPP control. Right click on that and select run as administrator. And then you need to start Apache. We're not actually going to be using MySQL this term, but if you wanted to start MySQL, you could go ahead and do that as well. I'm going to go ahead and start it because I generally use MySQL. And I'm going to authorize it for access on private and public networks. And then I'm not going to start up FileZilla, Mercury, or Tomcat. The other thing you can do is you can install Apache and MySQL, any of these really, as services, which means they automatically get started up when you reboot your machine. So if you want to run a persistent web server on your machine, you can go ahead and click these, but you have to stop the service before you can do that. So I'm going to go ahead and stop those. Yes to install Apache, and yes to install MySQL. And now every time I reboot, it will start up the web server and the MySQL database. And that can also be handy if you tend to forget to start these things up. So the last thing you need to know about XAMPP control right now is that if you click on this close box right here, it will not actually exit XAMPP control. It just minimizes it to your system tray, and it's still there, still running. And if you right click, you can show hide it. If you want this to really go away, you have to hit this quit button right here. And if you forget about that, you can end up with multiple copies of XAMPP control all running at the same thing, and nobody really wants that. So that should be everything to get it set up. I'm running the web server right now, so I should be able to go to localhost. Let me go ahead and take a look again at XAMPP control. So let me right click and run as administrator. Yeah, so I made them services, but I forgot to restart them after I made them services. So now quit. And back here, localhost, and it works fine. So the important tab here, there's a couple of them. For us, we're going to need this PHP info tab in the next video.